to conduct electronic trading. This birthed a new generation of traders, the digital stock traders. Firms went away from hiring smart, loudmouth extroverts to quiet types. Kids who were quick with computers was Paul Rotter, aka the Flipper, a German trader who started his career in 1994 at a bank in Munich. As markets digitalized, Paul was one of the first to adapt. Within a few years, Paul Rotter became one of the most legendary online scalpers. His methods were unheard of, and he literally printed himself Ferraris. What was the secret sauce? All psychological. See, when the markets digitalized, the game changed. Trading became anonymous. Back in the day, as a day trader in the pit, you could see the orders of other big market players like Goldman Sachs. It helped you determine the flow of the market. This was all gone. Instead, the digital era introduced what's called the ladder, aka the visuals on your screen showing the string of incoming orders. This introduced a whole new game of psychology. Paul focused on the boring old bond market, long-term government bonds to be precise. A lot of his opponents were old traders from the pits who barely figured out a computer. He knew a lot of them used to front-run orders of the bigger players. Therefore, he decided to target their new blind spot. Here's how Paul typically set up his trades. First, he would flood the market with massive sell orders. Traders watching the ladder would think a big player had started selling. In an attempt to front-run the bigger players, the other traders would also sell. Then, right before his orders were filled, he canceled them and instead bought bonds, flipping directions. Before other traders realized the orders were gone, sell orders would kick in. They were too slow. Once players bought back, Paul had already profited off a few ticks. Using large trading volumes, he was able to scalp profits like this many times a day. But his strategy had one problem. He often hit his own trades, meaning he traded against himself. Warnings from the exchange, Paul contacted his software company, Trading Technologies. After sharing his problem, they developed a software switch called Avoid Orders That Cross. It ensured he never hit his own orders. Unknowingly, they had created a monster. Paul could now change directions in an instant, placing buy orders alongside his sell orders. It left his opponents dumbfounded. It was like getting crossed by Michael Jordan in the 80s. Before you realized what happened, he had already scored a point. In a single month, the Flipper would pull in $6 million in profits. His scalping technique would later be called spoofing, to a certain extent, become illegal. At a young age of 24, he moved to Ireland to start his own firm and take things to a whole nother level. But he wasn't the only legendary scalper out there. The deployment of a manipulative and deceptive device while trading the E-mini S&P 500. Igor, aka Snuggles, was a Russian whose father taught him grandmaster level chess at a young age. By 2004, he became one of the largest day trading scalpers in the markets. His strategy was almost identical to Paul Rotter, another so-called spoofer moving the markets. Last but not least, there was Nav, aka the Hound of Hounslow, a young Indian immigrant from the streets of London, trading out of his parents' house bedroom. He had already made his first million as a skilled scalper before he got into spoofing out of frustration. Nav was one of the first to notice lots of big players were doing it. He complained about it many times to the exchanges, but they never did anything. To fight the corrupt system, he joined the dark side and started spoofing. These three legendary day traders had global reputations. When they threw their weight around in the markets, other traders felt it. Their large volume size, and they often clashed as they tried to hit each other's trades. They printed thousands of dollars until a whole different type of trader entered their rank. Year when everything started to change. While some firms dedicated their time to developing a new generation of traders, other firms were placing their bets elsewhere. Robots, high-frequency trading firms, quantitative hedge funds, whatever you want to call them, they all focused on the same thing, building computers that could out-trade humans. And by 2007, their developments had disrupted markets. The way the markets moved was starting to change. Day traders started noticing lightning-fast trades orders that were impossible to hit. We're talking hundreds of trades per second, inhuman speeds. Back in the days of the pits, the common strategy was front running. As mentioned